right, are we ready for a little bit of sports?
We're ready for sports. Take us to sports.
I love it, man, because you really are more into sports and you talk about it more than I think a lot of people think. I mean, you've been on here multiple times. So they've gotten to know who Justin is. And great guy, does a lot of things, keeps himself in great shape. So, that's all part of the whole thing, too. So the first thing I want to bring up is this. The NFL. The NFL is always got something. There's always news there. So I decided to look around and say, all right, we've gone through free agency. We've gone through the draft. And now what? So I'm looking and I'm thinking, what team right now looks like they have a great team except just one item is missing, a quarterback. And I'm looking around. Now you've got some really young quarterbacks coming into they got drafted really high and all the rest of that. I'm not really talking about that. They will start most likely, but I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what do I mean by that? Well, Mason Rudolph, anybody? Do you know even where he went to school or anything? Probably not. I do because I'm a football nerd, Oklahoma State kid. But then there's Will Howard. They drafted him this year, right? Will Howard coming to Ohio State. Great quarterback, did a great job in college, but he's not exactly an elite quarterback, or at least that was the judgment of most because he didn't get drafted till the 6th round. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. When you look at this team, though, Justin, they've got two great receivers. They got DK Metcalf. They picked him up from the Seattle Seahawks. He is unbelievable. He is an absolute freak show athlete, unreal to watch. Robert Woods is also great. They got two great tight ends. This kid, Darnold Washington, hasn't really performed yet, but sometime he will. He is big as a house out of Georgia. I love the kid. I watched him all through college. Now, the defense is one of the top defenses in all the NFL. Across almost all the numbers you want to look at, they're somewhere in that group of top 8, top 5, whatever, but they have a great defense. Why don't they have a quarterback? Well, they've been courting Aaron Rodgers for a long time. I'm starting to think more and more. I thought maybe he was just going to walk away, but I think Aaron Rodgers fits perfectly to Pittsburgh as long as he doesn't go crazy and drive the head coach crazy, which he won't, because that head coach will not put up with it. But it's just interesting to me to see a team that's got every piece to the puzzle except for the biggest piece, the most important piece, which is a quarterback. You almost have to have a quarterback if you really want to be competitive and get to the next level. So I'm going to say this. Aaron Rodgers will sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's a super bold prediction. Yeah, they have everything except the guy who touches the ball every play, right? So almost every piece. Pete, I want to ask you this, and it's okay if you don't want to answer. Do you ever do any like DraftKings on these types of predictions? Any type of sports bet at all on these types of things? It feels like you have a great
question.
read.
You know what? I am not a monster bettor, but every once in a while, and John's gotten into that more and more, especially with the sports thing, is maybe picking out something that seems like it's almost too obvious not to do it or whatever. But no, I haven't done that yet, but I have a lot of friends who really enjoy gambling and all that kind of stuff. So I just let them, I live vicariously through them. All right, next up, we got the NBA. Now, the NBA has gotten to be pretty interesting this year. The Boston Celtics is one of the best teams the entire year. They are now down 2-0 in their series with the Knicks, who actually have played really well all year. But when you look at it, obviously the Celtics were a huge favorite. Well, they're down 2 games right now. That's looking pretty ugly. I got another one. The team with the very best record the entire year is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they had the best record. They were in the East, and they're down 2-0. And they're down to the Pacers, the Indiana Pacers. So that's kind of interesting. OKC, so right now they're at a 1-1 game. They are absolutely unbelievable. As a matter of fact, they put up 149 points last night, which other than when they're doing their pro basketball, elite going against each other, there's nobody gets up to 149 points. This team is unbelievable. And a friend of mine has a son who's one of the starting players on there. And I'll tell you what, it's a fun team to watch. I've had an opportunity to go to some games. OKC is pretty cool. The Minnesota Timberwolves play tonight. Will they beat Golden State? So this is one you and I could talk about. We don't know what the line is right now. I think it's pretty high, actually, for the Timberwolves to win. But I guess I would say this. Without Steph Curry and losing game 1 where nobody could shoot the basketball, certainly was not a good thing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's at the Minnesota Timberwolves Target Center again tonight. I see you kind of poking around. I'm guessing you're looking to see what the spread is.
Yep. I was looking at it. Yeah. And for what it's worth, I'm not a sports bettor either, but I always thought it would be funny if at the end of this, sometimes we're like, okay, here are all the options plays. Now this is just for fun. Yep. Here's the sports bettor.
Yeah, we can do that, man.
But yeah, no, for what it's worth, yeah, it's plus 375, the Warriors, minus 500, the Timberwolves. I just wanted to say, for the Celtics, number one, they're my home team. Grew up in Maine, back then, and first basketball game that I ever went to. And so it's extra painful to see them blow back-to-back double-digit leads at home. First team in the play-by-play era to cough up multiple 20-point leads in a single postseason, and they did it in consecutive games.
That's amazing.
That is rough. That's amazing. And history is really not on their side either. Teams, this is a fun stat, teams that start down 0-2 have only come back 7.3% of the time since 1956. So
that is not much. That doesn't give a lot of hope, does it? Wow, that looks ugly. Well,
no, it does not.
We'll see if they break some of those kinds of things. I'll tell you what, the one thing I did notice, because the Timberwolves are my team, I had season tickets since the day they got to Minnesota or started their franchise in Minnesota. Ant couldn't shoot. That was a big problem for him. DiVengio, this other kid that we got from the Knicks in a trade, was 1 for 7 from threes. We just weren't shooting. And you know what? You've got to get the ball in the basket or you're going to have a problem. And so that's what really was the problem for the Timberwolves. I don't think it will be a problem again. I think that's going to change tonight. So we'll see how it goes. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you stepping in, especially last minute. John literally like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I think if you're on a plane, it's not going to go so well. So it's great to have you, Justin. Great time, man. Always good. We do not do this show on Friday, so we will see you Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.